G'day punters, I'm doing Punting Form, but these guys are here to talk to you about a deep dive on Caulfield and Doomben.
Smooth.
Disappointed, isn't he? Welcome to the deep dive. Plenty of racing, lots of good stuff, a few familiar trends, a few familiar faces as well here. Shane Ciurleo. I was calling you Ciurleo on our Sydney show. I apologise for that, pronouncing your name wrong. And Jack Dickens. Hard to mispronounce that. Boys, big weekend, lots of winners. How good's following us?
It's been a incredible week for the team. Profitable, fat, very pleasant. Still the usual amount of sickness and robbery and hard luck stories, but we're going really, really well. We're trending in the right way. Everyone's sort of working together really, really well, and I reckon we're just getting warm. Hopefully. Shane?
Yes. If I was you, I'd want to be following me too. No, I think we've been able to. I feel like we're always learning, always evolving. I've certainly learned some really harsh lessons. Went through a bit of a slump, 3 or 4 months ago, and just continue to sort of get a bit of bad luck, but didn't feel like I was betting bad. But we're all sharing, ideas on the interpretation of data and race shape and things like that, and particularly speed mapping, the data that we have been able to take from Punting Form and massage it. As a group, it seems to be going very well and in the right direction for sure. And I reckon we're on a bit of a roll anyway, team wise. That's for sure.
Yeah, we might do that at some stage. Go through little individual lessons, especially as we come up towards winter. Less to talk about. We might do like a lesson of the week or something. We'll try and do a few educational bits and bobs. So watch this space potentially. But let's start at Caulfield, because how do I describe this, Dicko? Like, we've seen a few pretty ordinarily run races. They've gone slow and farcically slow in a couple.
All right. Just winter. It's hard to cop. I'm glad we're not going back there for at least this Saturday. I've had enough of it. I'm even over the members, which I was, rapping 2 weeks ago. Like every single race, at least half of the joint I'm in has backed the winner. I find that like believe. You just a couple of thousand or whatever you've done, and then you just go. It's like, oh, shut the fuck up. You can't have been on that thing. How? Anyway, yeah. Looking forward to getting away from that for a bit. Mr. Moosh, race 3, I think we start there. Fascinating setup. Lloyd Williams, Silks. Lockie King missed the memo because this thing was 14s into 7s, some shorter at some joints. Good go the exchange, and Lockie sat 3 wide, no cover the entire 800 metres. It ran 14th, which was probably last.
Wonder what what would have the plan been from the gate?
I think be positive, and this is to Lockie's defence. This is the fastest they've gone all day for whatever reason. They just decided in the room to light this one up, and poor Lockie was left out on the limb there. Because if he does go forward and sits 1A, he probably cooks the horse even harder than he's already cooking it. But he was 3 wide cast, Lockie, so just an awful situation for a young rider whose best is pretty good, but his worst is awful, and he's does a lot of both at the moment. The money for this horse, though, first ever start in Oz, tells you there must be some sort of wrap on it, and you can obviously forgive it 3 wide cast the trip. So marking it as a horse probably with some ability just off the money, and obviously with the ride, forgiving it. I thought the ride of the winner in this race, Ben Allen, he's riding well. Yeah, this is barrier 3. He got off the fence early. Then when they started to see that for whatever stupid reason there was a lot of riders 3 wide in a 3 wide line, even though it was an 800 metre race and they're going really, really fast, he was able to get into that line and just toe into the race beautifully. I thought it was a really, really mature ride from Ben Allen, who's riding really well. Blue Ocean was like 5s out to 10s. Like they couldn't lay it on the exchange. I doubt they could lay it in the ring. It was just friendless. I don't know what that means moving forward. The horse is completely blessed in run, but it wasn't probably meant to win. So what do you do?
I was going to say, didn't Blue Ocean, was it at Sandown? I remember it was pretty firm in the market, settled back, made a really good sustained run off a fast tempo race. It didn't rate particularly well in Punting Form starter, but there was a few little positives there, wasn't it?
Do you reckon we backed it last start and it hemorrhaged and then went shithouse?
No,
No, that was...
It was at Sandown, I think.
I reckon we backed another horse in that race, not it. Maybe we backed it, I can't remember. Hang on, I'll get the race up, I'll know what I bet.
And then it obviously went to Adelaide last start.
We backed Trench Warfare.
Okay.
They were in the same silks that race. Yeah, it's come out of that race and improved its figure, run third, and then improved its figure dramatically here and won.
Yep.
There's not a lot of form out of that race yet, and the rest of it's come out. It's not very flash. I don't know what you do with that sort of.
Like you said, off-season staying race. Probably don't need to get too wrapped up in it.
Yeah, I think they're all numbers. Be careful. Race 4. Credit to Laura Lafferty, who Peter's been a huge fan of since day dot. Curly and I sort of focus more on their riding ability as opposed to their social media. She gets into it. Oh, she's fit and strong, but her patience and ability to not shit herself here. There was like a bit of a fight for spots in this race, and she's took the 1-1. And when you look at the data that's come through, I don't know if we're giving her too much credit or we always give them too much credit, but she's nailed this race to the clock. Strong in the finish. Imagine if you hadn't ridden a winner in the city, ever, and you were just about to, and you hear Damien Oliver coming over your fucking right hand shoulder. She would have had every emotion here, but she got the job done. I didn't love I didn't hate the parade. I think there was a horse in this race that I loved, and I veered off this horse, which I was gonna be with.
Najma.
Yeah, Najma for Jai and Wayne, Michael, and John Hawkes, Peter.
Yes.
Very, very nice parade. Elite walker, this thing. Proper mover. A good ride from Jai, who don't know what he did to the thing in race 2, prior to Jenny, where he sat 4 or 5 wide on a horse that we thought would lead, and he sat last. A little bit like what he did to the last horse there at Cranbourne on Friday night, which we didn't miss either. Yeah, but he gave this thing a great ride, this Naj Marge thing, but not as good as Laura Lafferty. Plaquette flying. I think you can follow it with confidence. I think the rest of these are slightly limited. Sweet Sue might have been the horse that was 3 or 4 wide cast the trip. You can forgive it. But I reckon it's an okay race, this. Nice tempo to build off.
It's probably the race that stands out, isn't it? When you're just going through the data, having that cursory glance, you're looking at the splits and so forth. It's the one that stands out to me.
Yeah.
Second horse stiff or not? Or did you feel it had its chance?
I think stiff the way Caulfield played. I know I saw a couple of people, but they got vested interest to be positive. We don't. The track favoured on-pace horses, there's no doubt about it. We'll see an array of tempos. I don't think anything won from that far back, apart from in the staying races, which is a different sort of kettle of fish. I thought Plaquette wasn't suited, but it's never going to be, with the track favouring on-pace horses. And most tracks do favour on-pace horses because you've got to try and get to the finish line first, and you're in front of them halfway through the event. So I thought it went good, really good, Plaquette, but probably entitled to not entitled to go as good as it went.
What about the? I'm just firing a couple of questions here without notice. Hawk's horse being a good walker is something that you've said a lot. That's just John buying the right horses, isn't it?
Yeah,
the right types,
being able to buy whatever one they want. Yeah,
helps. They buy a good horse, no doubt.
But the horse has gone pretty good. Like when I sort of review,
I suppose Wayne putting the polish on them, but. You know that meme or that gif
No.
Try not to laugh.
Yeah, well, I think they've got a trucking business, you know. I think they just do the horses for fun.
No idea.
Anyway, well, their horses run a peak figure, or the best it's run in the last 4 starts. If it's had any starts prior to that, I'm not sure. Looking at this data page I'm looking at, it's gone good. It's just running to 2 horses that are going a little bit better.
Yeah,
Trepidatious was in very good condition.
It looked like it was in the right spot. It looked like it was almost going to win or going to, the turn you think, oh, here we go. But it probably just, first time trying to sprint with a few that were, as you said, a bit more seasoned. Like it's probably still just improving. So look for maybe next prep or blah, blah.
Pistol was on track there on Saturday, punters, if you're wondering why he's got those opinions. He was watching him as much as I was.
Getting the mail upstairs.
Yeah.
Rapid
what else do you
roulette.
want to talk about?
I want to just briefly touch on the next race because in terms of narrative and so forth, how did Zara get away with such a lead on such an even tempo? Like most of these have gone well and truly very slow, and Zara is just basically going at normal speed. It was.
Well, do you want the honest answer?
Yeah, sure.
Sheer incompetence.
There it is.
The inability to count would be my guess. Because
experience or inability?
Well, there was the rider of the 13 and the 9, maybe the 4. That was like, the next line of horses behind Mark Zara. So now we don't ride horses, so don't get up me. Right, this is my opinion. But I'd assume that it's not sort of up to the riders of like Winsome, Curran, Melbourne Storm, Titius, all of Brighton, stylish enough to come out, go around, and take off after Mark. You'd assume it's sort of up to the guys who are behind him, guys and girls. Now, the 13 was Bo Mertens. The 9 was Stackhouse. The 9's run last, so I don't think it wanted to go any faster than it was going. And Mark the Mark was first up. And it was J Mott, and he sat 3 wide, no cover. I don't know what to do here. It just shits me. It was a great bet, but was it a great bet? Like, I certainly wouldn't want to take what they took near the jump. This thing was off a cliff. We had backed all of Brighton at about $7.50 with deductions. It was about $6.80 our ticket. This thing was just hemorrhaged all morning. It was $4 about 9 a.m. It started $2.90. It started about $3.10 the exchange. It was rock solid. I was expecting this thing's going to get worse in midfield, and it's got Madison Lloyd on. We've just had another young apprentice rider winner. Certainly the old blokes who can't cop a 3 kilo claimer in the city, they don't dictate the market. That's what we've learned here. Curly, are you one of them?
Of course I am. I add 50 metres.
Yeah, well, fuck.
Depends, actually. I'd multiply the provincial claim multiplied by the city claim multiplied by 10 metres. And that's how disadvantaged they are.
Well, I don't know why Madison slowed the horse down in that middle stage, but it was slow away, and it wasn't as good as other horses through the line. Curran had form, ran second and was back to beat Litchfield County at Sandown previously. Litchfield County went out and ran third to Montessori there at Morphettville last weekend, so there was some form there. I might have spoken about that on the previous show, sort of hearing myself speak there, but
nice little touch-up, Curran late.
Yeah.
Nice little touch-up. Top 950, I think, and SP'd 7.
Yeah, it was the only other horse they wanted to be with, wasn't it?
Last 5 minutes, it was $9.50 into $7.
Yeah, this is definitely the only other horse they wanted. They were right.
You have to excuse my ignorance here. Where was it expected to be in run all of Brighton and compared
I expected all of Brighton to settle outside of or inside of Winsome. So where Curran settled, I expected Curran to settle Coffin inside of fucking stupid name, Hot Water maybe, or Okay to Pay. Hot Water's number 13, but it just didn't work out like that. Winsome's gone awful off that strong SP in the better race, which was a current form line. That SP is just wrong. It had a dominant SP over a stack of these. That was versus Litchfield County, so you can tie it in that way for the form sort of nerds out there, like us. It doesn't make any sense, Winston.
The drift was there.
And I thought, just
Did
as
Winston run to market expectation?
it was very soft, wasn't it? Like really, really soft, and just they couldn't lay it, couldn't get enough on it. What do you make of Titus, which was an elite parade, I thought, Peter, or an elite type?
I think it falls into the same category as we've seen quite a few over maybe the last 10 days or so, on track for the bull or something like that. Like you'd be wary if it turned up in one of those races and there was market support for it, because there wasn't really any great market support for it on the day, was there?
No.
So you're basically just looking at a few of these going, parade, tick,
But it's just going to be the case of an elite trainer, because there's nothing in this race that says back me next start.
Yeah, I mean, Too Close to Sun's probably the same. Yesterday, 3 wide, no cover, just bizarre sort of non-ride in a sense, and but had that good parade, good platform, fast run race. It'll probably turn around and do something next start.
Yes and no though. Titus was $4.60 out to $6.
Yeah.
Too Close to Sun was backed.
Yeah, I think that market would be expecting it to probably push on to lead, so to speak, as opposed to trying to take a sit, which I know they tried. Was its previous start at Moonee Valley or something like that? Or was it Caulfield, and they tried to take a sit there? It's clearly a horse that needs to be rolling comfortable out in front for me.
Well, I suppose though, from a personal point of view, the biggest grey up I have is like, what do I do with these young riders on horses that are going to settle worse in midfield? Because we've taken a great price, but we've taken a great price, girls.
Yeah, well, you just have to wear it then.
I think you just have to wear it.
Yeah, well, I suppose, I don't know. Like, if you're not mapping it if you're not mapping it behind mid, if you're mapping it forward of midfield with the apprentice on, you bet. If you're mapping it behind midfield and you're adding some on and it's still a bet on price, you can bet.
Yeah, well, and that's
that it's going to work.
Quite relevant too, because
I penalise them a lot on back markers.
This horse, All of Brighton, like I marked at $3.80.
Yeah, so on $7 every other week.
On the early markets, it's a huge bet, but come the jump, it was almost a lay. I had current $8.40. Would it jump? Yeah, so I sort of missed the price late, but I could have. I think in hindsight, I'm gonna build more positions in races like that where I'm scared of what might happen tactically in the run. If I'm lucky enough to be in a strong position like I was.
Yeah, fair.
I think that's a good way of describing it. Building a position.
Anything else you want to talk about at the Heath?
No, not particularly. There's obviously no data yet for Flemington, so we'll give that a miss because we could probably go through every race and.
We will talk about this more so in Queensland, but just for reference, Yonkers for Ciurleo, Mr. Mercedes Parramatta was. It was $5 into 380, 370 some joints from 9 a.m. They did not miss.
Relentless.
Curly, should we talk about Queensland?
Yeah. Aye.
Firstly, should we do a little bit of racing sort of style Dutch ruddering?
Yeah, let me just lay back. Do it to me, Jack.
Who's holding his hand here, Curl? Pete, or do you want to do one each?
I was going to say. Can we get some baby wipes? I'm talking to my neighbour, actually.
What if I just sit on my right hand for a few minutes and let it go dead?
Disgusting.
We'll lose you. You get a job in proper racing media. Anyway, well done, mate, with Almeida. $13, you tipped it. It started what?
$5.90 something on the exchange, I think.
Yeah,
and you've declared just to completely gap win and place Kisicano, and also not deliberately, but you've also said the layer horse which decided to buck the rider 100 metres in. So it's been a complete and utter fill for anyone who watched the show on Thursday. If it was a fill for you and you are a non-payer, change it up. $20 a week. $20 a week will buy you not even half a pack of darts.
Third.
Do the right thing. It's a 6-pack of beer. We were talking about this before the show. If you bet $10,000 per unit, how much are they up? How much are they up for?
$10,000 per unit punters on my set, Jack, would be winning. I worked this out.
4.6 mil.
452,780.
Okay.
But what I did do, it was 452,780, which is actually factually incorrect because they would have cost them $80 for the set.
Don't forget that sub. We've got to be 100% accountable, right? That's what we do here.
1,000. Yeah.
So yeah, get on board, support girls, because he deserves it. This information's red hot,
and he appreciates it. Not only was I sort of suggesting it was a lay at $4 Simply Fly, Jack, it went off $2.60.
Oh,
like $2.70 the fare. It was staggered. And
I reckon the race caller might have taken some of that $4. He doesn't watch the show because not one mention of young gun Stephanie Thornton's health or mobility or anything. It's just the putters. It's Buck the Rider. The favourites Buck the Rider putters. Oh, the poor putters. That's amazing.
It was welcomed. Welcome bit of narrative. Anyway. We could possibly, I don't know where to start. You sort of mentioned, about the Waller horses and some money there. I'll probably start there when we talk about Queensland. Anyone that watched the show and watched Uncle Chris when he was on the show, and Uncle Chris talking about, being a creature of habit, it's the same with the betting trends and the betting fluctuations on their horses. Like I've been banging on this forever. There was a couple of examples on Saturday at Doomben. Race 2. Now, I did mention in the preview that this was purely a weight scale betting race. And I should have bet earlier on Star Dome. It was down in weight. Everything was up in weight basically. And just with the Waller, you had 2 in the race. Humboldt Current went up favourite at $3.10. Star Dome went up at $6. Stardome's ended up SPing $2.80. Humboldt Currents SP'd $5.30 the fare. What do you reckon happened? Stardome lobs behind the leader, rails in run, pisses in. Humboldt Currents last, getting held up the straight. Coincidentally, probably because of the way the track played. The market doesn't lie. These horses they run well when the money's there. Probably the only frustrating one for me when it come to the Waller runner was in my voice updates, which were gold, by the way.
It was very, very exciting. The first ever voice update was spot on. It was like a weather forecast. What was it?
Tycoon Evie and Easy Far.
No, you did a test though. It said like.
Oh, sorry, I sent my very first voice memo. It was Doomben racing, Queensland racing at Doomben today. The forecast is weather fine, pockets full. Race 6 was one that I was a bit sick on because I said Tycoon Evie lead, easy far, probably box seats. I'm not going to send any units in this race because I think Tycoon Evie probably wins, but it's like below my rated price now. I can't come into it. If you're looking to have a bet, you'd be having something each way to 6, but I'm not going to send any units on it. Goodness me. Yeah, that's a voice memo that's part of the service. I don't get the credit for the W, on our accountable betting advice and result sheets that we update after we bet. But for those that got the stuff, I've got a few inboxes to say tss and yah and
I reckon
whatever.
is it mailbags like number one sort of catch cry from the punters if we do go well.
But again, it was a horse that at the death, $14 into 11s, Waller horse with a map. The money's there again late, you know.
It's Luke Dittman, didn't he have a race named after him on the same day?
That's his dad, the Mick Dittman plate.
Nick Dittman.
Yep. But, you know, it's another thing that we've discussed on this show plenty of times. The Dittman-Waller combo it's a thing, you know.
I used to listen.
They run well when the money's there. Obviously, Luke couldn't get to the 54 to ride Stardome earlier in the day, but so be it. Probably as far as race reviews are concerned, I just wanted to touch on race 8. And I think by this time we had established a rails in run pattern. Actually, woo back. I'll do race 7. So we had established a rails in run pattern. We backed GTT and Cardiff. Now, the reason why I sent these two bets is because I thought GTT would cross to the fence first and then Cardiff would cross it. There was, which was looking likely until from the outside of those horses, How Wonderful Life Is sort of exploded out of the machines and went forward, the 8 with Leah Kilner on. So that sort of left Cardiff, OSL, and GTT behind the leader. Now, I'm going to try something a bit tricky for me here, and I want to just show something about this race. Bear with me, sorry. I'm going to try and share my screen because I talk about this a lot. You know how I talk about one of my pet hates is when you're on a horse that's OSL and it doesn't get up on the leader's girth and can't shut the gate of the horse behind it. Like one of my absolute pet hates that when the jockeys sort of, you know, hang off. The jockeys hang off the outside of the leader, so the behind the leader sort of gets up and right under its neck and pushes it 3D. Really annoys me. So just make sure I'm on the right screen here. Not the right screen. Sorry. Let me try again. Here we go. Okay. So see here, working. So there's GTT flying the fence. Cardiff is going to cross it, but How Wonderful Life Is. Anyway, it's been set alight and put the pace on. So now we see the two horses that were back there behind the leader. It's still technically rails in run until that point because it was travelling strong, and then GTT, the horse being the other bet, and then Embrace Me was another rails in run horse, Mayosi, which was a bit stiff as well. So watching the rails in run horses here, and then I'm just going to scroll along a bit here. So there's GTT in the purple. It's a little bit blurry probably, is it? And this is the part that I like the best. Like they've sort of eased the tempo a little bit there, and I thought GTT was a chance to sort of come off the fence, but obviously rode the rail here, and we get to a point on the corner here where it looks like GTT is going to push Cardiff out of the way for a stride just here somewhere, and then Mick Carl now just shuts the gate on him, like he's kept his momentum and shut the gate on the horse on the inside road tight, like exactly what you want to see when you're on the horse OSL. Like, hold your fucking spot. He did, and that was the difference in the race. You could argue GTT should have won, and Embrace Me, who ran third, come from 3 back the fence. If Mick Carl gets bullied there and pushed out of the way, it's a different result. But he's held his spot, and that was the difference. Thought he rode super on the day. Sort of felt like we got away with one there. GTT would have been a slightly better result, but I just wanted to highlight that, because we've seen it in Perth, saw it in WA on a few of Pistols bets in the last few days. Just jockeys on horses just refusing to sort of kick up and hold a spot on turning and just end up 3 and 4 deep on the corner after being OSL. Like, geez, it frustrates me.
Well, so some of the shit that Pistol has to deal with, like, Holy hell.
The less that's said about that Scarp side meeting yesterday, the better. Because
I watched more of it than I should have,
it was just... I know the straight, it's the longest straight, and they're probably, still getting used to the fact that they're riding, say, a 430-metre straight, Pinjarra versus a 330-metre straight. But we were half hypothesising, me and a couple of other WA punters, that they'd be going too early, really trying to, get into their gears, but, top of the straight, 400 to go and going, oh, shit, we're going a little bit... No, they left it too late. You were seeing horses, just under a hold at the 200.
I would have taken, $1.40, $1.20, they'd all leave it too late, because they all overthink it.
Anyway.
What about that one we were on in the last at 50s or something you tipped yesterday? Or 40s?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Is there any chance anyone getting going on them over there this weekend? And the answer is no, obviously.
Yeah, should have placed, I think, but anyway.
Yeah, I think so. I think the other race...
I'll show you an example, Curls, of what you're talking about was... I got lost and we were on, but Immortal Love yesterday. Craig knew it was he just held them all where he wanted them, and it has had to find that balance between, because it's hard at Flemington, as in losing momentum to hold your spot or just going for broke. But he really held him in a pocket as long as he could. It's he knew that's where the winners are going to come from, and my horse isn't going as good as it looks like it's going, because looked like it was trucking up to win. And then the winner came up the inside, second horse came up the inside. As soon as he opened that door, boom.
Yeah. The race 7 was the Mick Dittman Plate 3-year-old race, and I'm sort of anticipating most of these go to the Gold Coast Guineas in a fortnight.
Race 8.
Race 8, sorry, the Mick Dittman Plate. So this is where, this is the Simply Fly lay. This is what I couldn't understand, right? So we knew that Rails in Run was hot, but we also knew Simply Fly was going to be last of the fence because it's got no speed from the start to the 400, right? But the market kept coming for it, which is, I thought it was a bit strange. I didn't think it was going to get, you're going to be last of the fence, you're going to need some favours or a brilliant ride. Now, the winners come from last of the fence, and it was a fucking bloody brilliant ride. So this is the start of the race, just to show you where the winner comes from and what happens here. So we're watching inside gate, black and red stripes, red sleeves, black and yellow stripes, yellow cap, red sleeves. Inside gate is the favourite. Is that working? Yep. You can see this here. So that's Simply Fly with the white winkers there inside. There's the eventual winner, back with it. And then we say, way!
Glad she's okay. Everything's well there. She looks fine on... Pistol said her social media account says that she looks well. Everything's okay.
All right, so I'm just going to speed up just a little bit so we see position in runs here. We know it's a hot rail, and we've got... Okay, so we've got Leader Zeri, Les Kelly's horse, Noble War, I think. The Cummings horse, Andermatt. No, not Andermatt. What was it called? Andermatt. Yep. Kamasi trailing the fence as well. So I thought those horses sort of landed in good positions that needed a little bit of luck. Garoppolo, he's second last of the fence. The eventual winner there, that Mick Carl's on there, Lord Olympus. He was sort of half lucky to stay on his feet, really, after almost getting knocked over. Well, just missed. Didn't almost get knocked over. It didn't make contact, I don't think, but just missed. So that's the winner there, sort of last defence. So I sort of thought from this point here that we're going to see Cummings' horse and that Kamasi stay close to the fence and be a chance here. They weren't going overly quick for the class. So you watch these two up here, up Maloney and Mallion, both fence in run. They both come off the fence. And it allows Garoppolo and the winner who stayed rails in run as well, but certainly early parts of the straight stays very close fence as well. So getting held up, there's hardly been anything making ground out here all day. And there's the winner still tucked in behind them close to fence. Didn't really want to come off heels until late, inside the last sort of furlong. And
great ride.
Brilliant ride. Ride won the race. Like, so there's sort of, I thought Mick Carr sort of took the honours on the weekend, based not just because he rode 2 winners, but the different types of rides. He was able to be outside the leader on Cardiff and shut the gate on the inside horse, which won him the race, and then a weaving ride through there. I thought it was pretty good as well. So
poor old Andrew Mallion flew down to Melbourne yesterday just to ride Hal Wilson.
Have a look where it's ended up. Like, it's in a good spot, that Kamasi there on the rail, and as soon as they come to the outside, they just got nothing. There's no run on at all from like any horse there in that race. So on review, there's there's a couple of horses there that did sort of come from that spot that might have looked okay to the eye, but it might be a little bit better than sort of what you give them credit for. So huge amount of review to come out of that meeting. I think there'll be some gems there. But as we get further into the Winter Carnival, we see more and more horses coming from Sydney and Melbourne. And there was some talk about some horses' performances over the weekends. That staying race, 3-year-old in Melbourne yesterday that you were on, Jack, through Irish Eyes.
Yeah.
It's coming to the Queensland Derby, for example. So, a lot of these local Queenslanders really needed to get a result early in the carnival before the better ones start coming. So,
didn't it wobble in the last 100 and just make you clench a little bit?
I puckered. But
no, you didn't, Peter? Too good to pucker?
Got no need to pucker anymore.
Look, apart from that, wasn't a bad meeting. Almeida, it was a nice watch because while it led and went out 9.9 lengths quicker than average to the 600, at the furlong marker, that Waller horse Reloaded was the danger, and that's when I started giggling because Reloaded wouldn't ran past me if it measured me up at the furlong. So, interesting. Another big winner. I think another good performance was Skins in the last. I think it's a horse that's going places this winter, and why wouldn't you be going places when you got DVD negotiating your pup?
Let's quickly talk about some perf. Don't watch it, just talk about it. Firstly, outstanding sort of not GIF work. You are the king of the GIF, but just outstanding artwork there with the exploding head, which Peter will put in somewhere in the show. A link to that YouTube that you made me watch at Caulfield on Saturday. She is God.
She's God to you. Just we're talking about rides of intent.
Absolutely pissed in.
Like, first up at Pinjarra, the horses jumped the best in the field. No intent to lead from Chris Parnham. And he sat in the coffin, the eventual leader, Image Keeper, with Pike on board, goes straight to the front. And I love it. It's a classic be on me next start. You could have led, didn't lead, the leader then wins, and you chase it home. There's a gap to third. If you led, you beat the leader. It's not really that hard, surely. And then you get Tash Faithful jumping on board. It's clearly just been given an instruction, ride the horse comfortable out in front. No one else really wanted to lead. She's running along at a fast tempo and produced the best figure on the card. Thank you very much, Tash. Bless your cotton socks.
We love you, Tash.
Not a hard game.
It's not a hard game. Well, that's
easy.
What can you do?
Troy Turner made it difficult for himself yesterday on the other God bet that you said,
God.
Jack, on Acting God, when he jumped a length in front and then decided to sit outside a $100 shot and a $300 shot who wanted to be inside him on a slow tempo.
Yeah.
Troy.
What? I think you're right. I think the long straight completely bamboozled everyone, the new track.
Yeah. Yeah. Big shout out to Dates, who has been very, very busy the last little month or so, but he basically sent me a message going, did he wait until he was headed by 3 lengths to get busy on that horse? Yes, indeed. Anyway, that will be another horse I'll probably butter up with next start.
I've got one piece of news quickly. I don't want to go too much longer. I've said enough this week, but we did touch on the jockey that changed his name by deed poll and open betting accounts, but still got his old name. We touched on that a little bit. We don't have a Northern Territory correspondent on the show. But Terry Trickle, who was the jockey, who changed his name by default to Daniel Jack Smith, like, what? Anyway, so he got 8 years. He got suspended for 8 years on those related betting charges.
Oh, so he got 4 more years and weird. What a game!
I haven't read. I skimmed the finding, but I didn't read anywhere where he received like a leniency for the genius of his crime. I think he was entitled to a little bit of leniency
For the content he's created.
Well, look,
If we get another horse that needs a name, let's call it that. What was it? Daniel Jack Smith.
well, yeah.
Or at least DJ Smith.
DJ Smith.
At least one thing we have learnt is that there is no like blanket sort of guideline of what you get, what penalty you get for a jockey betting. It ranges from a $10,000 fine to 8 years.
Righto, this week, pretty lean week in Victoria, guys. Just be picking apart the maidens from home in the office, to be honest. Sale tomorrow, Ballarat Wednesday. There's like even Jacko said there's no fucking way I'm going to Ballarat, and I haven't even asked Peter. So you might get Mounting Mail tomorrow from Sale. If Jacko goes, I will do all the prices. Similar setup to what we had last Wednesday at Bendigo, which worked well. But you'll get prices and Mounting Mail Saturday at Sandown, provided nothing enormous happens in this house.
We have a in Queensland. We have a public holiday today.
Really?
And yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what the day is for, but anyway, we have a public holiday in Queensland. So the racing action is at Mount Isa, where we have a 5-card non-tab meeting. And we raced at Bow Desert and Sunny Coast yesterday. Anyway, Toowoomba Wednesday is my next betting. We've got a midweek metropolitan meeting
On track?
at Toowoomba. I'm going to be on track.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to it. And then Saturday we have just the 2 provincial meetings, which is brilliant. I'll be doing Eagle Farm and Bow Desert, who I've made my biatch after yesterday. And plan on doing it again this Saturday.
Pistol, anything to add?
No. I've got Albany today, including the Jericho Cup qualifier. So the winner gets flown to Victoria to race in the Jericho. Very exciting.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Righto.
Okay.
That's one of the weirdest things. So it's a $100,000 race at Albany.
Yep. Over 3,100.
Is Albany at the arse of WA? Is that am I thinking of the right place here?
I think it's a fishing town.
Is it on the south coast?
Yeah.
I think I saw Albany on Malcolm Douglas's thing once.
It's a long way from Perth, yeah.
5
I think they
hours?
catch a certain type of stuff, or maybe they go pearling down there.
They used to have whaling down there back in the day.
Whaling. Fuck, if anyone's still watching, sorry.
I forgot we were recording.
Let's
Sorry.
stop recording and start talking proper shit.